Good morning. It's a very cold and icy and frosty one this morning, look. Luckily my beautiful daddy lent me his car, so I've got a car. I'm now going to drive to this station, free with greater angler parking, the disabled badge, so that's good. You just have to remember to register. And I'm going to go and meet my friend Paula in London. She lives in Worcester. You may remember I went to visit her around Worcester recently, a few months ago, after we did Ride to the Wall. She just said to me, I spoke to her on Monday, she went, oh yeah, I'm going to London. I'm going to Borough Market, which is a place that Andy and I really wanted to go. And we didn't get there. But great street food. We used to eat street food in London just down the road from Bart's that was there on a Wednesday and Thursday. And there was one great stall, Indian stall, that was at Borough Market all the time. So we meant to go, we didn't get there. So I'm just going to go, hop on a train to London and go see Paula. Yes! Got to defrost this car first. I made it onto the train, all on my very own. Luckily I bought some water because I got here too late to get coffee. I have bought my walking stick. I'm beginning to regret already the fact that I haven't bought my walker because I think I'm going to need it today. But the problem is at this station is that tonight there is a slope the other side, but I'd have to walk right the way round the road, about a 10-minute walk with my walker, unless there was somebody nice to lift it over for me. I've also got to get to London Bridge. I need to look up my trains, and there might not be disabled access there either, so a little bit tricky. But anyway, I've got the stick, and I've got Paula to hang on to if I want to. It's £65 for an off-peak return, which I think is extortionate, but it always is going to London. I tried to get a rail card the other day for disability, £20 for the year. But of course it all gave me an error code, it didn't work. It said please email us with this error code, which I did, thinking they'd sort it for me. But oh no, they just went, oh sorry, it does happen sometimes, you just have to do it all again. And I haven't got around to it, so, but I will for my next journey. Feeling a little bit tearful because this is the first time that I've done this journey since Andy passed on my own. I did it with Joey to Heathrow. And obviously I'm going into London, and that's when I used to tube into London to see him at Bart's, so it's going to be a little bit cathartic today, I think, but that's okay. I'm very impressed. They've got oat milk on this train and gluten-free cake. Just standing back from the crowds a bit for a minute because there's hordes of them, and even though I've got my stick, people don't take much notice, and the problem is people suddenly walk across in front of you, and that's what really makes me lose my balance, which is where I want my walker. But it is also very difficult to get on and off of the tube with a walker when they're busy, because people look at you as if to say, you shouldn't be on here. You know what it's like trying to squeeze in like a sardine? Imagine it with a big purple walker as well. But you know what? They're all in a hurry. Just going to stand here for a minute, let them all pass, and then walk with ease. Glad I didn't bring my walker because, I've got Central Line. I've got to go Central Line to Bank, only one stop, and then Northern Line down to London Bridge, and there is no disabled access at all on Central Line, as I found before about a year ago. I avoid it like the plague usually, so luckily much easier without my walker. I've made it. I'm now at London Bridge station, where there is step-free access, so that's good. But yeah, I feel really sick. Probably because I was using my phone on the train, which isn't a good idea, but I think because of the anxiety as well. I'm also very breathless and very tired, and I think it's the remnants of the COVID, really. I am clear now, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be travelling out and about. But I do get breathless and really tired very, very easily. But hey, I left home by the time I defrosted the car at 8:10 this morning, and it is now 11:15, and I'm in the middle of London, so that's pretty good. So it doesn't make that £65 look quite so bad now. I have to pay more than that to change my flight to Bali, which I booked for the wrong month. I booked it for January instead of February, so yeah, probably it's not too bad, you know, 30 odd quid each way. To get into London, far cheaper and far quicker than driving it. I would have been for hours. It's terrible driving through London. But anyway, I'm here, come straight out opposite the London Bridge Hospital, one of the very few hospitals we didn't go to. In our hospital round. We had little hospital holiday stays we did, trying out all the different coffee shops me and Andy, bless him. Anyway, one of the bonuses also of London is it's warmer in London. I remember one night I came out of Bart's Hospital and it was 4 degrees when I got in my car, and an hour and a quarter later driving into Writtle in Chelmsford it was -12, so it's going to be a warmer day than it will be back home. and I'm just going to stand here and wait for Paula and then get on with a cracking day. Okay, one not so good thing at London Bridge, I can't find a toilet anywhere. Even Starbucks don't have one, I suppose, to stop people going in there. But luckily, Itsu did. I did go in and I just said, can you use your toilet? And I showed my card. But she said, yeah, that's fine, without even looking at my card. So, if you have any bowel body problems, you can get one of these from the Bowel and Bladder Society. And you can just show, you can get it on your phone as well, just download it on your phone if you're more techno than me, but I like to have an actual physical card. The other good thing about the Bowel and Bladder Society actually is that they are really good. If you have to have any products from your GP on prescription for your bowel or your bladder, they will order them for you, they will deliver them to your door, and you get loads of free stuff as well, like hand gel, alcohol-free hand gel, aloe vera, dry wipes, wet wipes, lanyards, these cards, a radar key. So you don't have to pay for these things if you've got bowel and bladder problems. So check it out because it is good. I love about London. You just kind of walk along the street, and we're now at King's College in London, just literally a stone's throw. Look, it's just amazing. Yeah. And it's silent as well, isn't it? There's not much traffic outside. There's a statue there. I can't see it at the moment because there's a person there. There's the Shard, look. Wow. But most importantly, do you know what else is here? There's a Paula! The statue is of Thomas Guy, who came into lots of criticism from his family because his legacy was left to form Guy's Hospital, which they weren't very happy about. But obviously, we are.
We are definitely.
Thank you, Guy. I thought Paula's very clever. She went, Mr. Keats the poet. I went, how do you know that? And it's because it's there, look. So I'll put a photo, and you can scan the QR card and and you can hear all about it. So this was the original part of Guy's Hospital, now King's College London. Oh, another little statue over there as well, look. These old buildings. This is actually the old operating theatre. It's actually called Amazing Grace now, live music and bar venue.
What is the museum also?
And and a museum. I have to have a little look over. Shard's still there though, look. It just fascinates me, all these old buildings and new buildings, and like even these old houses, look. Like you see in the Mary Poppins films and things. Well, I didn't know that John Keats studied here at Guy's Hospital. Oh. And this is where he had his lodgings, number 8, whatever. With his friend Henry Stevens.
Apothecary, surgeon and chemist.
So much great stuff here at Borough Market. Look at these. They even do vegan pies, they do gluten-free ones. Mooley's jackfruit steak and ale vegan pie. There's all different sorts of truffle oils. Oh, the cookies, cakes, loads of goodies. But I actually don't fancy anything at the moment. There are gluten-free stuff as well, besides that crumble. Nut brittle they're making, look. And then butternut, there's chilli and chilli sauces and chilli chocolate, and there's so much here. It's a real foodie place. I wish I knew who my secret Santa was. This is the original Golden Hind that set sail from Plymouth under the captain of Sir Francis Drake. First ship allegedly to circumnavigate the globe. It's very, very fragile. You can go in and see it and see all the museum and that. The reconstruction started, is still going on in 1973, actually commissioned by the Americans. There you go.
I learned about Drake.
And the Thames. St Paul's over there. Spent many nights and days looking over that from Berks. And there's I never know if it's the cucumber or the gherkin, but I always got it wrong. I used to make Andy laugh with whatever I called it. These are all the old Pickford warehouses. Please go down the Thames, and this is the ruins of the Winchester Palace. This is the Great Hall, and the only bit that's left standing. Once one of the most important buildings in medieval England from the 12th century, and this is where it would have stood, the red one down there.
12th century, no one told me to say.
This is Southwark Cathedral that started off as a convent in 606 AD and then went on to become a priory, a parish church in the 1500s, and the 1900s it became a cathedral. And amongst those who've worshipped here is Dickens, Chaucer and Shakespeare.
Historic building, but it is also a house of prayer. Each hour we offer prayers in this holy place.
This is the Clink, the most notorious medieval prison, apparently. Oh, and you can go in, it's like a museum.
On the site of the original Clink prison, this museum tells the scandalous truth of Old Bankside.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hi. Did you see Ladies Going into prison now?
We're going to we've decided to come in. Oh my goodness. Hopefully there won't be people jumping out on us. And hopefully they won't keep us in, Paula.
We go this way.
I don't know. This is Henry of Blois, the Bishop of Winchester. He built the place that we saw earlier. He was the grandson of William the Conqueror and brother of King Stephen. And you know what, that place was a den of iniquity, that great hall. In fact, Henry VIII tried to shut it down because of the sexual activity and the raucousness and the drinking. The private prisons, they actually had to pay to stay here, so it depended on whether they could afford to or not, or whether they just died. So if you've got nothing to live on, just die in the name of God. And it used to flood as well, so they'd be swimming around in sewage, and most of them had died from dysentery, typhoid, malaria and typhus. Area was notorious for prostitution, and they were called the Winchester Geese, the prostitutes, and many of them were buried at Crossbones graveyards, just piled up literally on top of each other. They are trying to build on top of it as campaigns to keep it as a memorial ground. I don't think I'd want to live on top of that. It's called Clink, or the Clink, and this is now Clink Street, because of the clinking of the sound as the blacksmith was hammering in the manacles in place. And there was no food in prison. Relatives had to bring it in and pay for their privilege, or they could go out and beg in their chains on the street. Pretty horrendous. Or you could beg through the windows as well for food. And you know, persecution was also just for religion as well. When you think of Henry VIII, he was Catholic and persecuted. Oh no, he then changed to Protestant and persecuted the Catholics. His daughter persecuted the Protestants, and so it went on. I'm sitting in the torture chair, which people were strapped down in to get their torture, but right now it's very nice to sit in. We love an old London pub. We're going to have a mocktail, a nice Christmassy mocktail. We're at the Anchor on the River Thames, which is so old that even Shakespeare used to drink here. He probably did read here too. Now inside the Globe exhibition, and this is depicting Borough Market, where we've just been, which is the oldest fruit and vegetable market in London. And it's funny enough, it was saying there's lots of sights and smells, some nice, some not so pleasant. And Paul and I were saying earlier that, can we imagine the smells that would have been in some of them tunnels in the old days. We're just waiting to go on a tour. This is the exhibition bit. Tour is £26 per person, and there are no discretions at all. £19 for a child. The London Bridge was once the only way to get across from the city to Southwark. And in the really, really cold winter of 1600s, they actually set up fairs, the Frost Fair, and performances and all sorts on the ice of the River Thames. And that is what this depicts. This is a replica of the coronation chair that they use in Westminster in George's Chapel, and it was made in 2015 for Richard II and adapted in 2022 for Henry VIII. Yes, we're actually in the Globe Theatre right now. Lots of great stuff. All the world's a stage, to be or not to be. And I found a pin badge for my hat with to be or not to be on.
No, it's half in Stratford. Hold on. That's nice. You should take that from.
Oh, she's great.
That's totally fine. I think as long as the closest person takes it, it's great. I mean, just leaving it downstairs, that would be done.
I really don't go, and they kill the cattle people. I'm talking about 16th century, but you know, it could not have been that surprising to just break it.
My famous next day edits. I'm going to try and remember what I can about the Globe Theatre. So the original one was built in 1599. There didn't used to be theatres, and it was actually called the Playhouse then. There used to be travelling actors. They used to travel around. So this was the first area in London of where there were playhouses. First one was built in 1599. It was built with a thatch roof, but the special effects for some thunder, I think it was, or something, or fireworks, they used a cannon. The cannonball launched and it landed on the thatched roof, and the place burnt down. So they then rebuilt it, and it only took them a year to rebuild it. And when they rebuilt it, they built it with a tiled roof. Obviously then eventually it all went to rack and ruin, and the Globe Theatre that you've seen in the video was the one that was commissioned and fundraised for and by many film stars, actors and actresses, but Sam Wanamaker, Zoe Wanamaker's dad, was the one that really pioneered it all. Unfortunately, he died before he saw it all rebuilt and restructured. It's about 100 feet from where the original one was. They've done it roughly on the size of the original one, from when, you may remember, years ago they were going to do some building over in London and they uncovered the footprint of the original Globe. So they've done it based on the size of what they saw there, and pictures and writing about the Globe. It's made out of green wood, so that it changes, and it, with time, it's fresh cut down wood, so you'll see a big crack in some of the pillars and things as well from that. The bit down used to be the penny stinkers. The floor bit that you stand in was the penny stinkers, because that was the cheap bits, and then it became the something, I can't remember, standlings or something like that. But yeah, it's a really good experience, lots to learn there, really fun. I do recommend it. It is worth actually the £26, and I definitely, Paula and I definitely want to go back there and see a show next summer. There are actually shows on at the moment as well, though, I just have to say, because they've got the Sam Wanamaker Theatre, which is an inside theatre as well, that they also do shows. I think it's Ghosts at the moment, and Hansel and Gretel, and then a Shakespeare one, but we're definitely going to go back hopefully next July for some Shakespeare. We're now on some modern bridge, and it's a bridge that you see very often in films and the movies that Andy and I always wanted to walk across to come up to St Paul's. And Paula and I are now on it.
You wait, you see the Melbourne skyline at night. Oh, it's beautiful. It really is.
I'll see it in February, Melbourne. Yeah. Mind you, London's pretty impressive too.
Yes.
Well, now heading back to the station.
It's beautiful. And the pink under the bridge, look.
Yeah. Can never resist whenever I'm here. Just come round by St Paul's. I'm going to head through Passover Square because I think there might be some Christmassy stuff. Look at these little stalls. All very bittersweet. Spent an awful lot of time here over the last couple of years with the love of my life. But we were fortunate last year, him and I, to get a little visit in there, so we were blessed. So, years ago, Paula, that would have been us, wouldn't it? At that bar.
Yeah, we would have sat there.
No more. I've had a wonderful day with Paula. It was well worth it. Absolutely exhausted now. Happy I didn't bring my walker because I would not have got on the train at all. Struggled even with my walking stick. Got pushed out the way, knocked over several times, nearly went flying. Please people remember, if you see somebody with a walking stick, generally they tend to have balance issues as well as mobility issues, so it really doesn't help when you walk across in front of them. They're likely to go flying. Anyway, we did go and see Bart's Hospital. Bittersweet, but yeah, just showed Paul around there. Went into St Bartholomew's the Lesser and the Great and had a little reflection time. Now back at Liverpool Street, waiting for my train. The 18:30 is 4 minutes in peak time, so I've got to wait till the 7:02. So just chilling for a bit, get on the train, have a little nap, I think, and yeah, looking forward to getting home. I'm now home. I was very organised. I put my central heating on timer, so it was all nice and warm when I got in. But the LPG gas bottle had run out, and the new one hadn't been switched on, so it's freezing. So I'm with my hat, my scarf, my hot cup of bedtime tea, under the electric blanket, in bed, fully clothed. And do you know what? It's 0 degrees centigrade. It's fine. It's only freezing. Anyway, just snuggle down. Night night. See you soon.